For number 13, we're going to be writing inequalities first. So we're going to start off by writing them. And I want us to think back to, this is very similar to when we were writing expressions. We had to pick a letter, we had to say what the letter stood for, and then we had to write out the math. But this is easier than when we were doing the expressions, because what we're going to be writing today is not an algebraic expression that has like adding, subtracting, multiplying, all that stuff. We're going to be writing something called an inequality. All right? So we're still going to pick a letter, still going to say what that letter means, but then instead of writing a math problem, we're going to write something called an inequality. Now, we talked about the word inequality before. Does anyone remember what the word inequality is? Juliana? All right, an expression saying if something is less than, so there's my less than symbol, greater than, and you want to fill these in. All right, and we would use equal to in the past, but now what we're going to do is we're going to take our less than and our greater than, and better? Nope. Better? Okay, so we're going to take our less than symbol and our greater than symbol, and we're going to combine it with an equal to. So I'm basically going to smush them together. So what that's going to look like is we're going to have the less than symbol, and then we're going to have a bar underneath it. And what that sign means is that it is less than, or it can be equal to. So that's how you could encompass your equal to amount. All right. So like if I said you need at least $10 on Wednesday to go to the science field trip. Should sound familiar. Some of you know what I'm talking about, right? You need your $10 deposit by Wednesday, right? So I said you need at least $10. So can you bring $10 in? Yeah. And from my sentence, could you bring in more than $10? Yeah. Now, I don't know. That's a science teacher question if that's for real. But remember, your science money is due Wednesday if you want to go on the field trip to the McVeigh Center while everyone is at Disney. But guys, so that would be when you would want a greater than or equal to situation, because you can bring in $10 or you could bring in more than $10. Do y'all see why we would want greater than or equal to sometimes? So that's less than or equal to. Greater than or equal to would be the same thing, but with a greater than symbol on top and one bar. All right? So we're not using two bars for the equal to sign, because when we push them together, it's kind of like that top bar goes away. All right, are y'all okay with that? Raise your hand if you've seen those symbols before with the less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. Okay, a few of us. All right, cool. We're going to be using them a lot today. All right, again, it's going to come in handy when you could have that amount or you could have more, or if you could have that amount or you could have less. All right? So what I want us to do when we're writing these sentences, and I'm going to kind of highlight these inequalities just because they are very important. So those are inequalities. All right. So what do we want to do when we're writing out these sentences and making them inequalities? The first thing I want us to do when we read the sentence is we're going to look for the description that tells me, is it greater or is it less? Where are the words that are telling me it's big or small? So on number 1, it says more than 2,500 people attend the convention. So first of all, what words is it that's telling me if it's bigger or if it's smaller? Kaden? More than. So guys, I want you to underline that. Underline more than. A lot of times those words are the easiest thing to find. So if we start finding that, then the rest kind of is going to be a little bit simpler. All right? So if I'm looking for more than what? Not what number, but what am I comparing as more than? Am I saying more than the conventions? Am I saying more than the people? More than what? Malachi? The people. We're saying more than 2,500 what? People. So when we're talking about that more than, it's talking about the people. Do y'all see how I figured out that people is what we're talking about? Guys, if people is what we're talking about, what should my variable be about? Hayden. People. So I'm going to say P is for people. And technically it would be the people at the convention. So if we wanted to add that, people at convention. Okay, so my people are those people at the convention. Okay. All right, so we picked our variable. Now, do y'all agree, like before, that was one of the harder things to do. All right? If you pick what your comparison word is, then you just look for what am I comparing? Oh, people. It made it easier. All right? So now, guys, we're going to take our variable, and you always want to put your variable first. So I'm going to go ahead and write my letter. All right, that's another nice thing, because when we were doing expressions, did you know where your letter went every time? No, it could change, right? It could be in the back, it could be in the front, it could be next to a letter, next to a number. All right, this time, guys, your letter is going to go first every time. Put the letter. Okay, so we put our letter, and then what number am I comparing that to? Okay, so I'm going to leave a space. I'm going to put 2,500. Now, what's going to go in that space? That's where I'm going to put the inequality, okay? The letter, then the number, and in the middle will be our inequality. So let's decide, what do I need? If it says more than 2,500 people attend the convention, if I'm talking about these people, should my people be a greater than symbol, 2,500? Should my people be less than 2,500? Should my people be greater than or equal to 2,500? Or should my people be less than or equal to 2,500? What symbol are we going to use here, Layla? Greater than. It says more than. So that means greater than. Greater than. Questions on how we pick that? All right, do I remember the ways to remember which one is the greater than symbol? Remember that big mouth is coming first because it's bigger. All right. Also, remember our L trick. Make an L, pinch it, that's your less than. Make an L, pinch it, that's your less than. So I don't want this to be less than, I'm going to do it the other direction. All right. Number 2, her earnings. That says earnings, not earrings. Okay, I messed that up a couple of times today already. All right, her earnings were no more than $64. What is my description? What's telling me if it's bigger or smaller here? Hayden. Earnings isn't telling me if it's bigger or smaller. What's telling me if it's bigger or smaller? Close. Maggie?
No more than.
No more than. And guys, that no is going to be really important because that's telling me it's actually the opposite of more than, right? So it's the exact opposite of more than. Okay, so what was it that cannot be more than? What is it that cannot be more than the $64? Savannah? Her earnings. So my variable is going to be? Keaton? E for her earnings. Not earrings. Okay. For her earnings. Are there any questions on how I knew that we were talking about the earnings? Okay, so again, we're going to put our letter first, E, and then I'm going to put my number next to that with a little space. Okay, so if it says her earnings were no more than, that means we've got to do the opposite. What's the opposite of more? Maggie?
Less than.
Less than. All right, is that the only thing that means not more than? Juliana?
Less than the line under.
With the line under it. What does that line mean? Equal to. Because, guys, does equal to mean more than?
No.
No, so that would also mean not more than. So are there any questions on why I need the less than and the equal to bar? If it says no more than, is 64 not more than 64? Is that true? 64 is not more than 64. Wouldn't y'all agree? Yeah, so that's why we want the equal to. And then any number less than 64 is also not more than 64. So we want our less than and we want our equal to sign. Okay, are there any questions about that equal to sign? I tried to explain it 2 different ways, but sometimes all that, like bigger or smaller, all that stuff gets kind of mixed up in your mouth. More than, less than, equal to. Okay, we're good? All right, let's look at number 3. The winning 5K race time was less than 22 minutes. What's my description? What's telling me if it's bigger or smaller? Eli?
Less than.
Less than. And what is it that's less than our 22 minutes? What are we talking about here? Braden? The race time. We're describing that race time. So I'm going to do R for race time. Some people today have used W. They said for the winning race time. I said W is fine. So we have race time. So I'm going to put my letter first again. So R, and then I'm going to put 22 because that's my number. Right, it's nice because your order is always the letter, then the number. All right, so if the race time was less than 22 minutes for my R, am I saying that it's less than 22? Am I saying that it's greater than 22, less than or equal to 22, greater than or equal to 22? What do we think, Gabe? Less than. It said less than, so we're going to use less than. If it said not less than, we would use the opposite, which would be or equal to. Greater than or equal to. All right. But this just said less than, so we're going to use less than. All right. A checking account balance is no more than $500. What words tell me if it's bigger or smaller? Aiden. No more than. Make sure we have that whole thing. All right. And Michael, what is it that we're talking about is no more than $500? The checking account balance. All right. Guys, in some of my classes, we've done C for checking account balance. In another class, we did A for account balance. In my last class, we said B for balance. All right. I'm okay with any of those options. C, checking account balance. A, account balance, or B for balance. Okay. All right. So I have my variable. And then I have my number, which was 500. Guys, I want to point out on number 2 and on number 4, I know that had the dollar sign by 64. Did I write the dollar sign in? No. Remember, is the dollar sign a number? No. Is the dollar sign a math symbol? The dollar sign is not a math symbol. The dollar sign is a symbol, but it does not do anything mathematical. It doesn't tell me to add, doesn't tell me to subtract, doesn't tell me anything to do mathematically, so we want to leave that out, okay? Make sure that we're not writing the dollar symbols in, all right? Okay, so if it's no more than 500, am I going to say the balance is less than 500, is greater than 500, the balance is less than or equal to 500, or the balance is greater than or equal to 500? What do I need here? Julia?
Less than.
Less than or equal to, because it's no more, which means less or equal. Those both are not going to be more. Less and equal are not more, so we want to use those two symbols. Okay. Questions about number 4? All right, number 5. The maximum ceiling height of an 8-foot, a maximum ceiling height of 8 feet, it was required in the new building. What word tells me bigger or smaller here? What word is giving me a bigger or smaller description? Bailey? Maximum. And guys, I really like to go ahead. One of the other reasons I like to underline these early is a lot of people, when I ask them what we're talking about, they said maximum ceiling height, which is true, but maximum is telling me if it's bigger or smaller. And what is maximum describing? The ceiling height. So do I want maximum in my variable? No, that's telling me if it's greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. But it is describing the ceiling height. So I'm going to put C for ceiling height. All right, guys, if you'll underline your descriptive word, it'll make the rest of this a lot easier, I promise. All right, so we have the maximum ceiling height of 8 feet. So I'm going to go ahead and put C for ceiling height. And then I'm going to put my number, which is 8. All right, the word maximum, I even put a little star here by maximum because I think it's a tricky word. It tricks a lot of people, but we're going to think about this, all right? If the maximum ceiling height is 8, I want you to think about this C. Does that mean C should be less than 8? Does that mean C should be greater than 8? Does that mean C should be less than or equal to 8? Or does that mean C should be greater than or equal to 8? What do we think on that, Jordan? Less than or equal to 8. If the maximum is 8, can I get bigger than that? Nope. If the maximum is 8, that means that's the biggest it can get. So everything else has to be that amount or smaller, right? So that's what gets tricky, because when you see maximum, what do you want to think? Big, greater. But if it is the maximum, can you get greater? No. So we actually end up having to use the less than symbol because everything else is going to be smaller. So here's my question, guys. What if you saw the word minimum? What if you saw the word minimum? What symbol would I be using for that? Malachi? Minimum, we think small, right? Can I get smaller than the minimum, though? No, so everything else would have to be greater. So if we see the word minimum, we're thinking, hey, that's the bottom. Everything else has to be bigger, greater than, or equal to. Because if that is the minimum, can it be that amount? Yeah. The minimum that you need to hold your spot for the McWayne Center is $10. Can you turn in less than $10 and go to the McWayne trip? No. Can you turn in more than $10? Yeah, you can have a balance of more, but you can't have a balance of yes, less. Yeah.
The maximum is $25 for the trip.
There you go. So, the maximum is 25. Can you turn in more than 25? No. Can you turn in less than 25?
Yes.
Yes. Down to how much?
10.
10, because that's that minimum amount they need by Wednesday. Good job. I like it. All right, guys, are there any questions about these so far? Are we good on this so far? All right. Let's look at the next part. So now we're going to get to graphing. Graphing. All right. We've graphed on a number line before, haven't we?
Yes.
Guys, Harper, Michael. All right. When you graph on a number line, all you do is put a dot, right? If I told you to graph 3, you put a dot where 3 is. If I told you to graph -5, find -5, put a dot. All right, here's the problem with that in inequalities. The symbol less than and greater than. If I say that something is less than 2, can you actually have 2? If it's less than 2, is 2 less than 2? No. So I want us to, do y'all see this first example right here where it says x is greater than 15? Let's think about that because we can actually see that physically, right? Okay. So it says x is greater than 15. Is 15 important? Yeah, 15 is kind of like our starting point. Can x be 15? No, 15 isn't greater than 15. So we have a little bit of a problem. Because what it means, guys, when you put a dot on a number, that means that's your answer. Can I put a dot on 15? 15 isn't my answer. Can my answer be 15.2? Is 15.2 greater than 15? Yeah. Is 15 3/4 greater than 15? Yeah. 16? 19? 23? Okay. But the problem is, can x be 15? No. All right. So what we do, guys, is we have a special type of dot that we're going to use. All right. The dot that we're going to use, and look, you see where I have this less than symbol and this greater than symbol? So there's my less than, there's my greater than. The symbol that we're going to use for those is going to be an open dot. The reason we use an open dot is it's saying, hey, this number is important, but I didn't fill it in because it's not really there. Okay? So it's kind of like an invisible dot because we didn't color it in. But it's still important. Okay? Well, what if when we have the equal to sign? Like here, this says n is less than or equal to 6. So can this n be 6? Yeah. So if it has the equal to sign, I don't need a special dot. If it has the equal to sign, guys, we're going to fill that dot in. And that's just going to be a closed dot, a filled in dot, a regular dot. Okay, so how do you know when to fill it in and when not to? Eli? If it has the bar. If it has the bar, fill it in. If it doesn't have the bar, leave it open. Okay? So let's look at this first example. We have x is greater than 15. Do y'all agree with that? Do y'all see where that says that? All right, so we need to fill in this number line. So let's see, I'm going to put 15 kind of near the middle. So 15, 16, 17, 18, and I put 14 in front. I could have put 15 exactly in the middle. What I don't want to see, I do not want to see 15 at the end, okay? I want to see it near the middle. Are we okay with that? All right. So we agree 15 is important. What type of dot am I going to use on my 15? Juliana.
Open.
An open. I want y'all to watch how I'm drawing my open dot. Do you see how my open dot is on the number line? Yeah, my open dot is on that number line, right there above the 15. Are y'all okay with how I'm doing that dot? Okay. All right, now here's my question, guys. 15 is important, but 15 really isn't my answer. Is 14 my answer? Is 14 greater than 15? No. Could 16 be an answer, though?
Yes.
16 is greater. Can 17 be an answer? Can 18 be an answer?
Yes.
Can 19 be an answer?
Yes.
20?
Yes.
100?
Yes.
137?
Yes.
Okay. So what we need to do is we need to show not just this dot are what matters. All of these numbers down this number line are going to matter. So y'all see I'm just kind of coloring in that line. All right, and then I'm going to put an arrow at the end. What's that arrow mean?
It keeps going.
It keeps going. We got to get up to that 137. In fact, am I going to go past 137?
Yes.
Yeah, it's going to go on forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. All right. You notice I filled in my arrow. If you just want to do a regular arrow at the end, you can. My arrows look funky, so I fill them in. It makes them look better. All right. Does that arrow have anything to do with the dot? No, that doesn't matter. Okay. Number 17. Number 17. What number are we talking about this time? Hayden? 6. So guys, I'm going to put 6, and guys, you can put it right in the middle. 6, 7, 8, and in front of that we have 5 and 4. I'm going to kind of put my numbers in different places so we see it doesn't matter as long as it's not at the end. Kaden? Yes, you have to put the arrow to show it keeps going. Very good question. All right, so obviously we're saying that n is less than or equal to 6. So n's being compared to 6. So I need to show 6 as my starting point. What type of dot am I going to use here? What type of dot, Lauren? A closed dot. We're just going to fill that in. And you'll notice, guys, again, I'm putting it right on that line. It's not sitting on top of the line. Make sure it's on that line. All right. Now, guys, this time it says n is less than or equal to 6. So can n be 6? If it says less than or equal?
Yes.
Yeah, that's why I filled that dot in, okay? But it says n is less than 6. So is n going to be 7?
No.
8?
No.
5?
No.
Yes. 4? 3? 2? Negative 8?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to draw my arrow going to the smaller numbers. All right, guys, I want to show you something kind of cool. All right, I'm going to point something out just in case you haven't noticed it. Some of you have. You'll see where I have my x is greater than 15? Look at that greater than symbol. You'll see that symbol? That's my greater than symbol, right? Now I just made it an arrow. Which direction is that arrow going?
Right.
And that's the same direction as my graph, isn't it? Okay, look at this one. There's my 7. There's 7.
There's my.
So there's the less than symbol. Thank you, Kaden. I couldn't get out of my mouth. There's my less than symbol. If I make it an arrow, which direction is it going? The same as my graph. Isn't that cool? Guys, this, honestly, it gets the point. That's how I graph them. I just that's where the arrow's pointing. All right? You can logically look at the answers like we just did, or you can just look at these arrows. But that only works because my letter was in front. Remember up on the top when I said our letter has to be in the front? Is that where these were? Yeah. What do you notice about the next ones? They're not in front. So, if I'm graphing them, just like at the top I want the letter in front, even when I'm graphing, where do I want my letter? In the front. So guys, what I'm going to do when I get problems like this on number 8, talking about the number 5, but on number 8, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move it. I'm going to move my A. I'm going to put it in front. So then where's my 5 going to go? At the back. Okay. All right, guys, now here's my question. If I've switched A and 5, can I just leave that symbol the way it is? No, we're going to have to switch it too. So think about it. The pointy side is facing A. The open side is facing 5. the pointy side should still be facing A, and the open side should still be facing 5. So make sure we flip that around. Now, can we graph it? Yes. All right, so I'm going to put my 5 kind of near the center. So 5, 6, 4, 3, 2. Again, I'm just showing, I could have put it right in the center. I'm just showing that you can put your numbers kind of almost anywhere, just not at the end. Okay. 5 is important. What type of dot do I need with my 5? What type of dot do I need, Caitlin? An open dot. Okay. And guys, y'all see where I put my letter in front? All right. Look at that. Which way is my arrow going? All right. You'll see how we're going to the left. So we're going towards the 2 and towards the 3. Now here's the thing, guys. You have to be careful. Because can you look at the original problem? No, you have to look at the new way that you wrote it. All right? Are there any questions? Make sure you check. Is that how your arrow is going? Eli?
I thought that it was, oh wait, never mind.
So it says 5 is greater than A, right? So that means my number has to be greater than A. I'm sorry. My number 5 is greater than A, so 5 has to be greater than all the numbers. Is 5 greater than 2? Is 5 greater than 3? So that's why we like that letter first, since that's what our graph is talking about. So when I say A is less than 5, it's easier to see that less than symbol and that we're going down. Okay. Are there questions about number 8? Everyone check. Make sure that their graph is going that direction. Or that direction on y'all's, right? Yeah. All right, number 9. Am I good to graph that one? Can I graph that one right away? No, my letter is not in front, which we know is bad news, okay? So let's put D in the front. That's not a D. D in the front. And then we're going to put 17 in the back. Make sure, what do we have to remember to do? Flip the inequality. Flip that symbol in the middle. Okay? So I'm going to put 17 in the middle, 18, 19, 16, and then 15. So fill in those numbers in. What type of dot do I need here, Frank? Closed dot, because it has the equal to sign. And what direction are we going? Julia? To the left. So if I look at my new symbol that I wrote, if I make it an arrow, it's going to the left. All right. What about number 10? Number 10, do I need to change that one?
No.
What do I need to do? Number 10. Do I need to do anything there? No, number 10's good. So let's just put 37, 38, 39, 36, 35. It's not, guys. That's just the graph. Like, if I make a decimal, I try to make them a lot darker than that. That's just when I made the copy. I think the copier had something on it. Because I got a lot of, like, random dots on here for some reason. All right. What type of dot do I need on 37, Gabe? Closed dot, because it has that line underneath. All right. And what direction are we going to go here? Harper. On number 10, what direction? To the right. We're going to the left, because if I look at that arrow, that's the left, okay? And sometimes, guys, if you're like me, it's easier for me to point sometimes because my directions are not the best. Ask my husband when we drive, go somewhere. He just wants me to point because I always say the wrong direction. Turn left. Oh, no, you were supposed to go the other way. He gets mad at me. He gets very angry. He's like, just be quiet. I'll listen to the navigation. Okay. All right, just trying to help, sweetie. All right, on number 11, is that one ready to graph?
No.
Why is that one not ready to graph, Aiden?
Because 58 is in front.
58's in front. We need that letter first, so let's flip that around. make sure when we flip our letter and number, we also flip our symbol. All right, I'm going to put 58 in the center, 59 and 60, 57 and 56. All right, what type of dot's done? Open. Excellent. And Rebecca, what direction are we going to go? To the right. Excellent. So if I look at that arrow, the new arrow, we're going to the right. Glad y'all are better at directions than me. All right. Do you have any questions about these? Your homework's on the back. Okay? Writing them at the top like we did. Remember, underline your description, then find what it's talking about. Down here, numbers are already on the number line. You're welcome. Okay. All right. So make sure that you're using your dot correctly. Remember, if that letter is not in front, make sure you fix it. All right, Maggie, did you have questions?